So, in a previous video, I created this stylized hero character, Colwyn, and ever since then I've wanted to expand his world, give him enemies, build encounters, and start forming the foundations of real combat. The challenge was, how do I create enemies that feel like they belong in the same style, the same universe? Mid-journey prompting was leading me nowhere, even using style and omni references. That's where 3D AI Studios' Image Studio came in. This video is sponsored by them, and they've built an amazing toolset for generating images, applying style references, editing concept art, and converting it all into 3D models. Today we're going to build an entire group of enemy raiders for Colwyn to deal with. From text prompts and style references, all the way to fully rigged 3D enemies inside Unity. Let's jump in. So we're starting off here showing our hero Colwyn, and like I mentioned, I wanted to make some enemy NPCs for him to fight, but the biggest challenge I was running into is that maintaining that consistent look and feel, that sort of modern, stylized, realistic 3D animation style was turning out to be very difficult. And it wasn't until I jumped into the Image Studio here that I'm going to show just how easy it is to actually retain the style across multiple NPCs. So here we are in Image Studio, and I'm just going to take you through the different options here real quick. So there's the generate images, where you kind of create images from scratch with prompts. There's this option to edit and modify the images. So you can take an existing image and give it a text prompt and tell it what you want to change there. Next, there's the convert, which you can upload an existing image, and turn it into something completely different. So change the artistic style, go back and forth from photorealistic to stylized art, things like that. And then there's this image reference one where you can use specific parts of an image, so it's sort of like, the omni reference type of concept in Midjourney, if you're familiar with that. And then this new one that they just added, the style reference. This is the one I was really excited about using because as you can see, what it does is it kind of matches the artistic style. So the shading and the colors and the textures. So we'll see how it turns out. The first thing I'm actually going to do though, is we're going to create one of these bandits by using just a text prompt here. So I fed this into my custom GPT prompt, and I said, basically, I want to create an evil Nordic raider that's kind of, an enemy NPC that this Colwyn character could fight. And so what this does is it creates a optimized prompt for going from image to 3D. So we're going to copy that over here and go back to Image Studio and click Generate. I'm going to use the Nano Banana Pro model here. They have a lot of other different models, so we'll test those a little bit as well, but the Nano Banana Pro one has been doing really good work for me so far. So I pasted our prompt in there, and you can see you can choose the number of images that you want. So you got to be careful. You don't want to generate too many because these could rack up your credit cost. And then I'm going to go for 2K resolution and portrait aspect ratio for now. That seems to fit an A pose pretty well for our character. So I'm going to go ahead and click generate, and so we got a bandit looking guy. This guy's kind of creepy looking. I like him. He's a little bit scary. He has a pin sticking out of his head. I'm already seeing some things that we're going to have to edit out with the edit tool. But as a baseline, I think he's going to work for one of our bandits. The style isn't exactly what we were going for, but I think that's okay. I think we can make some changes here and tweak things a little bit and get him looking the way we want him to. So just out of curiosity, let's try some of the other models they have here. So just to kind of compare and see with the exact same prompt what the different output results would be. So let's try Image Gen 3 here first. And nice thing is they keep the prompt in there for you. So we'll just choose some options here real quick and click Generate. And okay, don't know if I really like the look and feel of this one. The actual style itself looks a little bit more like what we're going for, but let's try another model here. So what else do they have? Let's try the Flux 2 Pro one as well, just to kind of see what that comes up with. And okay, this is not quite what we're looking for, but very interesting. All right, let's try another one of these models. Let's see, which ones have we done yet? We did Image Gen 3, we did Flux 2 Pro. Um, yeah, I think we're gonna call it quits on the different models here. So I like this guy. We're going with this guy. So like I mentioned, there's a few things in this image that we don't like. The braids, for example, are gonna cause issues with rigging and animation. I don't really like that spike sticking through his head on the top there. So let's go ahead and try out their editing tools here and see if we can't clean this guy up a little bit to make him a little bit more suited for rigging. So I'm gonna load him into Image Studio here, and I have the Nano Banana Pro model kind of bookmarked there. And so you can see here I had this prompt, remove the long braided hair and get rid of the pin in his head and remove the cloak because that could also cause issues with the animation and rigging. So once we get that looking pretty good, we can click generate and let it do its thing. And so after a couple of rounds here, I was able to remove the cloak, get rid of the pin in his hair. And yeah, so as far as style goes, not quite the same look and shading. The color palette's a little off, but we can tweak that a little bit more. So this was the one that I was really interested in trying out here, this style reference. So for Bandit number 2, we're going to go for kind of like a more mischievous, wiry type of look and feel. And so what you can do here is go into this and then you basically upload an image that you want to use as a style reference. So in this case, I'm using Colwyn and the guy that we just created. And then I'm also going to use Gwen, which is from another couple of videos that I did. She's kind of got more of like a Zelda Breath of the Wild type of look to her, but same kind of idea as the Colwyn look and feel. So we're going to give it 3 different pictures to kind of source from as far as the style goes. And then basically I'm just going to use the same prompt I did for the first guy, but make a few tweaks here. So this one kind of had that like cold, ruthless expression. We're going to change this to like a wiry and thin type of guy. He's maybe like more mischievous looking. So just trying to get some variety in these different bandits or raiders that we're creating here. So we'll go ahead and put that in. So other than that, the same type of, armor and everything like that. So they'll look like they're sort of part of the same clan. And yeah, so this guy turned out great. I mean, this is the very similar style. This is almost exactly what I was looking for in terms of getting the style copied over from Colwyn and Gwen in particular. So obviously we got his feet cut off on the bottom and he's got long braids and there's a kind of a cloak. So we're gonna have to clean a few things up, but that's what's really nice about this is you can go and edit these after the fact and kind of tweak them and adjust them and get them just set up right for the image to 3D model process. So, you can see here we're getting the full body view, we're getting rid of the cloak, and it looks like it got the full body. It didn't pick up on the cloak thing. So sometimes you have to go through a couple different iterations of this and just kind of go back and make it very explicit what you want to do. So in this case, I was just going to say, turn the cloak into just shoulder pads. That way it'll be very, very clear exactly what we want it to do. So we'll go with 2K resolution this time. And okay, there we go. That's actually looking really good. This guy is definitely kind of mischievous and creepy. He's giving me sort of like worm tongue vibes. So I don't know, maybe we'll call him Grima. So yeah, this guy is definitely my favorite of the 2 that we've generated so far in terms of replicating that look and feel that we're going for. So this last one, we're going to do a convert, and I decided to use myself as a model because, hey, why not? We can make a raider, a Nordic bandit raider out of me. So let's give this a try and kind of see what we can come up with. I don't know how much of my actual image it'll use or not, but yeah, so we'll go to this convert anything and you can upload an image. So I got this picture of me. I was trying to make a mean face or like a mischievous face, and it ended up being kind of goofy instead. So trust me, that's not the way I always look, but at any rate, I thought it would be kind of funny for this particular use case. So I'm going to upload myself as the base model, and we're going to use the Nano Banana again. And then basically I'm going to use that prompt that I had from before for a Nordic raider, and just say transform this image into the Nordic raider. So let's see how this turns out. Okay, so I don't know if I see too much of the resemblance, but at any rate, I actually really like the model itself. It looks pretty cool. Definitely in the same pose as me, so it's got that going for it at least. But yeah, I guess this is going to work for our third model. So I don't know how much of a part I actually played in it, but we'll go with it. So as you can see, there were some grid lines on the model for some reason. So we're going to go back into the edit tool here and get rid of those real quick, because we obviously don't want the grid lines. Might have been because I said it was a 3D model. So we got rid of those, and that looks a lot better. And so next thing we should probably do here is get him into a T-pose. That's going to be important because of the shoulder pads. We want it to be in that position so the rigging and animation looks right. So, all right, great. We got him all set up in a T-pose. But looking at the shading and the color for this guy in particular, just doesn't really match that style or look and feel that we had on our hero character here. So had this idea of uploading 2 images to the image generation or image editing. And basically the idea is tell it to say, re-render the first image to match the style and aesthetic of the second image. So I wanted to see how this would do, and sure enough, this gave me very close to what I was looking for. So I think it kind of picked up on the shading and hues and styles of the skin tones and the leather and things like that. So I thought, let me give this a try on our first character that we created there too. And so here's our end result. You know, we've got some pretty cool looking stylized enemy raiders that look pretty menacing, look like they could be a tough challenge for our Colwyn hero here. So pretty happy with the way these guys turned out. That really didn't take a whole lot of time tweaking either. So next thing we're going to do here is load these into the image to 3D. And we are going to want to choose the Hunyuan 3.0 model. And then the generation type I always keep as normal. Go back and forth on the face count here a little bit. I've been doing 50,000. I was going to try 100,000. In this example, I think I ended up doing 50,000. But after going back and forth a little bit, I actually read their little disclaimer here. It says, just leave it auto. So for all of these models, I actually ended up choosing auto, which is 500K, which is a lot of faces. So I'm going to show you real quick how to reduce those a bit in Blender after the fact. So let's go ahead and see how these turned out. So the first guy, yeah, he looks pretty cool, pretty menacing. The texture looks pretty decent. A few artifacts here and there, but nothing terrible actually. So I think we could just kind of use him out of the box. This next guy, who is loosely based on yours truly. We're going to call him Marty, by the way. And then this last guy, he's going to be the chief. He's going to be Chief Gratu. So the next thing we're going to do here is create some weapons for these guys. So I'm going to go back over here and use this style reference tool that we used earlier for creating Grima. And I'm going to go ahead and upload the images of all the characters that we just created. So we're trying to mimic the look and feel and kind of the style of those characters. And so I'm going to do a few different prompts here. The one I'm going to show is I'm going to create a like an axe with a wooden handle. And the idea here is that it should be picking up on some of the colors and, you know, some of the style that we see in these characters. So going to say create a stylized raider axe and see what it comes up with. There we go. That's a pretty good looking axe that definitely matches the style and the look and feel that we're going for. So very cool. So I did this for a few other weapons. I did one for a mace and a warhammer here, and I did some shields as well. I'm not sure if we'll use those or not, but I was just kind of playing around with it to see what sort of props we could make. So next thing we're going to do here real quick is pop over into Blender, and I did a video on this a little while ago on how to reduce the poly count, because as you can see here, there's 500,000 faces on this thing. So this is just going to be a sort of quick and dirty attempt at this. I'm going to use the decimate tool here. So like I said, I'll post a link to the video that goes into a bit more detail on how to properly do this, but I just kind of wanted to show off how powerful the decimate tool is in Blender. So I'm setting the ratio down here to 0.1, which is reduce the poly count to 10% of the original. So it's already down to 50,000 faces. And as you can see, the model still looks great. So much so that I think I'm actually probably going to drop it even further, maybe go to half that to go for about 25,000 faces. And in that video that I went into more detail, there's some other tips and tricks you can use to kind of target certain areas of the model that are, flatter and smoother, and reduce the poly count even further that way. But for purposes of this, we're just going to go ahead and cut it down to about 25,000 faces, just to make these a little bit easier to rig and animate inside of our scene. So I'm exporting it as an FBX file, and then I'm saving out the texture here so I can import it into Unity once we get it rigged up in AccuRig. So yeah, well, the next thing that we're going to do here is pull this over into AccuRig. And so this is a desktop app. I've used Mixamo before as well. Both work pretty well. I find this to be a little better for character animations, especially humanoid, type of characters. It just gives you a lot more granular control over the positioning of the different body parts, and it's just easier to use in my opinion. But it does take a little bit more work, as far as setting up the finger joints and stuff like that. So I won't spend too much time here. As I mentioned, I did show this off in several of my other videos that I'll link to if you want to have a bit more of a deep dive on this. But again, just kind of want to showcase the end result of taking the time to put together these images and get the styles looking right and what it looks like in actual game engine scene. So as you can see here, we got him rigged up and animated and ready to go. So I like to do the hand animation just to see how the fingers turned out, and they look pretty good. No weird distortion or anything like that. So I think for a demo, this is certainly going to work out pretty well. So we'll go ahead and move on to importing these objects and models into our Unity scene and get things set up for Colwyn to fight this band of raiders. So we're over here in Unity now, and I'm using this asset pack, Ancient Forest. It's kind of a stylized look and feel, and really feel like it kind of matches the characters that we're going for. So I'm pulling in all of the raider models right now, and you can see I already have Colwyn set up in the scene. And basically what I'm doing here is I'm setting the rig to humanoid, and then I'm duplicating out the material from within the FBX, and then assigning that image map so we have an actual texture for these guys. This is something that you kind of have to do with FBX files within Unity when you first import them. At least from my experience from a lot of these 3D tools, exporting them, you have to kind of wire up the material yourself once you get them inside of the scene. So once we get those set up, I'm going to go ahead and drag them in, and there we go. We've got Marty the bandit raider, and he'll maybe increase his size a little bit here. Don't want him to be too much bigger than Colwyn though, so I'll do 1.5 maybe. But he looks kind of scary, intimidating, but maybe not so much. So we'll get him set up in the scene here, and then pull in the other couple of raiders, so we'll have 3 total. And then we'll go ahead and position them and get them wired up. And so I'm going to use my Hero Combat Controller. It's a Unity package. I have a video on this, just something I kind of built to help easily wire up enemy NPC and player combat control. So It's built right into Unity. You just install it through the package manager and then assign it to the NPC that you want to have be your enemy. And so I'm wiring it up to these guys. It's very simple right now. It just basically has them auto attack when you get in range and some very basic one-handed attack type of mechanics. But good enough for a little bit of a gameplay demo here at least. So we're positioning these guys and getting them into place. And now we need to make our 3D models of our weapons. So just wanted to show you this real quick. For these ones, I just chose a face count of 10,000. I didn't want to deal with having to go through Blender, and they're pretty simple. And we can actually just save them out as GLB files and import them directly as GLBs and not have to deal with converting to FBX or anything like that. So I'm just downloading them straight from the 3D AI Studio app here and pulling them into the scene. And then basically what we need to do is get these positioned in the enemy NPC's hands. So I'm going to drag it in here and then kind of get it lined up with his fingers, like right around where he would be gripping it and hanging onto it. And then once that's in place, I'll show you how basically you kind of have to position it underneath the hierarchy. So you want it inside the bone structure. So when the enemy moves around and is animated, the prop kind of moves with them. So you can see here I'm expanding out the root, and then we're going into the upper arm, lower arm, hand, and then just going to go ahead and rename this to Warhammer. Then I'll drag that in and make it a child of the hand. Now the combat controller creates this melee weapon script that automatically goes on the hand when you make it. So I'm just moving that from the hand onto the Warhammer object. So I went ahead and did this for the other couple of bandits here, and we'll just kind of speed through this real quick since you already saw the first one. And so let's start our scene up and see how things look. So let's fight these guys. Like I said, this combat system is still pretty basic at this point, so I'm still kind of working on it. I want to add blocking and some other different types of attacks and things like that. But like I said, just for demo purposes here, I thought it would be kind of fun to we went from basically prompts and some existing images using some of these tools to these characters are now alive and attacking our enemy character inside of a scene here. So pretty cool to go through that pipeline and be able to produce enemy NPCs that actually look like they fit and feel in the world and match the style of our character. So I'm going to continue to be using these tools. And I just wanted to give a special thanks to the 3D AI Studio team for sponsoring this video. I think they've got an amazing tool chain set of tools to really bring to life some of these ideas that I have. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it if you made it this far. And please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.